Let's get rocking and rolling here. I have to end it 20 minutes early today. Important call. So let's get moving here. What do you guys need? Where are we at? Give it to me.
Okay.
Everybody's got a perfect marriage. Come on now. Okay, Jeff, you're shaking your head no. What's going on, man? Where are we at today? Can't talk today. Matt, you're muted if you're saying something there.
I just said it looked like he was at work, so
yeah.
kind of just talking to myself.
True that.
I'll get it going. What the hell? Yeah. I mean, been a up and down sort of battle, but I've been riding it pretty good. Katie and I have had a couple really, really fucking crazy conversations. I was driving home one day, and I just was thinking about some of the talks Katie and I had, and she brought up in one of the talks that she was really going to have a hard time moving on and just accepting this new me until I really sat down and acknowledged all the things that I had done to her. And so I was thinking about that driving home, and I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to jump right into this bitch when I get home. Like, not bitch her.
I know.
Jump into
I know.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I was just gonna jump into it when I got home and kind of just fight the good fight, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of forget things easily, so I made a bunch of notes kind of while I was driving home. I just looked down real quick, make a note about something that I remembered in relation to, what I had done and what made me think of that. Essentially, is kind of the list I had put together.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got home, I said, hey, in like 20 minutes, I'm just finishing up a little bit of homework here. I'd really like to sit down and have a conversation with you. So she agreed, and 20 minutes later, we went to the garage, and I basically just went through the list of things and said, look, this is what I've done. And I said, we talked, and you explained to me that, you're going to have a hard time moving on until I really dig in and tell you the things. And that's what I did. I rhymed off probably 25, 30 items. She came back at me, just asking, like, okay, some of them she didn't really understand because I use a lot of the terminology that we discuss in here, like covert contract, things like that. So she was like, well, I don't really understand what a covert contract is. So I kind of just explained that to her as best as I could. And then she really understood what I meant. And then she said, okay, well, if you treated me this way, what made you think about that? And I said, this is, here's an example of what I had done that, had treated you that way. So, yeah, I mean, it's just the last 48 hours since that have just been a completely different conversation with her. It seems like she's a lot more open with me, not open with me, but like we've always been able to talk like as good friends, but like it feels like she's safe almost, like the way that we're talking now. Like, and she kind of actually said that to me a little bit that night as well, that, she didn't feel safe prior to that conversation. And now that having that conversation, she can really start to be herself again, I guess. So it was really cool, man. It was really good. Like,
I'm really happy for you, dude. Like, there's some key things that I want to just bring up here for you other lords. So, it's nice when you get to a point where you're not afraid and you're not waiting for her to ask for it, right? But you want to be through the reset, showing up long enough, being proud, so that when you have things that you're acknowledging, the reflections, like Matt's saying here, make sense, right? He can say, well, I had these expectations of sex, just as one example, and that's a covert contract. I was giving love just to get love back. And so when you can start to show true understanding when she's ready, now she's ready if she's asking and she's being loving and saying, I just need more before I can move forward. That's safety. That's good. That means she wants more, right? So just don't jump the gun on this. And not that you did anything wrong here, Matt, but just for guys that struggle with, the hard conversation, this is a hard conversation, right? When you start to really acknowledge and you start to because, she could feel so good that she starts to just let you have it, right? That's right. That does piss me off. That makes me so upset. How could you do that? My body's my body, like however that could have gone. So some of you, if you get to this stage, we can always check first before you just jump in. But using the reset, if you use the different men I talk about how you show up as, right? You can use that because your reflections will be different than mine, right? But you have the foundation to go, shit, I really didn't prioritize you at all. Or wow, I did piggyback off of it. Every time I asked you how your day was, I just crammed my day down your throat. And then I tried to cram myself down your throat. I'm such a douche. These are powerful reflections. It doesn't mean that your wife has done nothing wrong. It doesn't mean that you're taking full responsibility for her reactions, her bad behavior, her problems and contributions to the issues in the marriage. But it does mean that you're taking responsibility for you. And that's the only person you can take responsibility. So I'm really, really happy for you, Matt. It could still go a little up and down. She might, because she feels safe, she's reflecting on it. She might come back at you a little harder. She might come back at you softer, but you might take it personal. Try not to. Try to just get through all this. Because once you're done, you're done. You don't have to keep revisiting this shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of where I was saying, like, the last 36 hours have been great. Because I can already tell that there's going to be some ramming coming. I can, kind of sense it in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just waiting for it to come so that way I can attack that conversation, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a different level of confidence right now with talking. I really do want to get it all out so that I can, for lack of better words, get it in,
Well, and see, this is the power, guys. Listen to how confident he feels. Now, he knows, we've talked recently, that you want to keep moving forward. You want to keep showing up. There's things that you're still thinking about, reflecting on, working on. But when you're comfortable in that journey and you see the future, right? You see the light with your wife. You ride that wave, man. Go in there knowing confidently, yeah, I might not be perfect with communication yet, but I'm not coming at it from a defensive standpoint. So there is an opportunity here, right? There's an opportunity for her to feel what she needs to feel. There's an opportunity for you to just, again, reflect on who I am and what I've been doing. And then just be proud of who you are, no matter what, right? Be true to that guy. Good for you, man.
Yep.
Proud of you, dude.
Yep. And I'm almost on 2 weeks of going to the gym. I've only missed 3 days now for taking stretch breaks and just relaxing. But I mean, I don't want to say I'm 100% sure it relates to my happiness, but I do have a different bit of confidence, I think, from that, and just because there's days where I've gone and I'm like, fuck this, I don't even want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I'm through my hour and a half, 2 hour workout, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I stuck it out.
Mm-hmm.
This pain was, for lack of better words, worth it. And yeah, no, I mean, like I said, just feeling good, dude. Last little while, I've been feeling great. I've been riding the wave, and
it's absolutely undeniable. Absolutely undeniable.
That gym is 100%
Hold on,
responsible.
somebody's talking.
Sorry, Cass, I was saying that. Sorry to jump in, but that gym is 100% responsible for the way you're feeling. And Cass owning gyms will back me up like 100% on this, mate.
Yeah, man.
Exercise is proven to be the #1 cure for depression over anything.
That's right.
It is the #1 contributor.
It's undeniable, right? Like just pretend you're not going out to fix anxiety, depression, whatever, stress relief, right? Just understanding that you feel better about you, because in 2 weeks you start to feel like you see muscles. You just do, and that makes you feel more confident. Like there's just all these little mental things that do help you obviously get over depression. You start tying that in with the right foods, less booze, all of this stuff. It's undeniable. And in the reset, I'm like, I don't need to go through the benefits of fitness, just fucking work out, right? But like, really, we could go on for days. This is not, it's not something that's surprising me. It's also not surprising that you don't want to necessarily connect the dots yet, right? Where you're like, I don't know if this is 100% responsible. And here's why. Because you don't like it, right? It's not exciting yet, right? You might be getting, at 2 to 4 weeks, you get to this point where you feel guilty if you don't do it, right? Because the benefits are there. You're starting to feel it, right? But in general, man, just own it. That's what's happening. You're feeling better about yourself. Sense of pride is another one. 2 hour workouts. Most guys won't even work out really for 30 minutes intensely enough, right? So own it, man. Love it. It's awesome.
Awesome.
You're doing really well. I'm gonna move on here because we do have a shorten it up with me today. At least you guys can stay on. But Andy, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, good job, Matt. Celebrate what you did, not the outcome, though. She could have reacted totally fucking negatively, and you'd been like, oh, that wasn't right.
That's right.
But you did something right. You did your fucking homework. That's fucking awesome. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
Homework.
Me too. And I think the big thing is just think about the confidence that you had saying, oh, fuck it, I'm going to go attack this conversation. And you meant it in such a loving way. I want her to feel. Man, dude, that's loving your wife. That's amazing shit, man. Good for you. All right. Maddie, go.
Yeah, just super quick one. And Cass or anyone, like just an opinion. I'm open to it. Things are going well. I snore pretty bad, and when things were really bad with the wife a couple of weeks ago, you know, one of her big things that came out is she doesn't cope well with broken sleep. She never has. It's always been her thing. So whilst that was going on, I put myself on the sofa bed just because I didn't want to inflame things anymore. Not because she told me to. I just didn't want to inflame things. And then I had a bit of a cold and these kind of things. So I pretty much spent the last 2 weeks on the sofa bed. The last few nights, she's been asking me to come up to bed with her and this kind of stuff. And about 4 nights ago, I said, no, I still got a bit of a cold. Don't want to break up your sleep because things have been going really, really well. Then the last few nights, I have gone up to bed with her and laid with her and chatted with her until she's fallen asleep. And then I've actually got up and gone down back to the sofa bed because I just, like I said, that's one of her non-negotiables is her sleep at night.
So you're just wondering if this is good? This is a good plan?
Well, I'm like, because I want to sleep next to my wife. I have got an appointment tomorrow to see a doctor to see, after all the years of fighting, if they can fix the crooked thing inside my nose.
Yeah. That's good. Just go be proactive with things that you can. Yeah, maybe they can fix something. Sometimes there's no strips that work, and sometimes you have to get the terrible sleep apnea machine, but go check out what you can and be proactive on that. But all of this, no matter what, just communicate with her, not in a way that's like would make her feel guilty. I do want to connect with you, babe. How is it going? Check in with her. How's it going with me kind of getting out of here and letting you get your sleep after you fall asleep? I love that, I totally understand it, man.
Yeah, see, any issue with that connectivity? I mean, if we're still having sex, if we're still laying in the bed together and I'm just waiting for her to go to sleep and then I get out of there because, mate, to be honest, since she said she was going to try and that's when I was sort of staying on the couch and she was getting proper sleep, her mood in the morning is mostly the best it's been in 20 years.
Well, sleep affects everybody, guys. And, Catherine's been having terrible sleeps for, I don't know, remember she's been sick on and off for like a year and a half. And if I had to do something like that to really help her, I would. Mine's not that issue, though. Mine is my son, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't think that you're doing anything wrong. As long as you're communicating with her, you're conveying that you miss her, you love her. Be cute. Don't make it sound guilty. It sucks, but we need to do it. And you're providing the structure and leadership so she gets the sleep that she needs. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially because you're not just hiding on the couch. You're not running from your wife. You're doing it from a loving perspective. But you're going to have to also own that might not be good enough for her. So if that was happening in my house, I'm positive Catherine at some point would just say, I can't do it. I don't want that, right? Maybe from day one, maybe she just needs a good night's sleep. I don't know. I've actually offered to send her to a hotel. Just let me take the kids just to let her get some good quality rest in the dark, and she's just, I don't want to do that. But your wife might be different. Your wife might be like, I do need the break, or I do appreciate this. Your wife might also switch. So just keep the conversation going. Be loving, be grateful, Okay?
No, easy. Thank you.
You got it. Nathan, go.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Living the dream.
Awesome. First thing, I fucking love the program.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So far, loving it. Anyways, so this morning I had a bit of an issue. I lied to her. texted her good morning and said, when you're ready for your test, give me a call. It's a drug test. She's really worried about it. And I thought, you know what? I want to wake her up with stress. And so I just said, good morning. And she saw that I'd unsent a message.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked what I unsent, and I lied. And then I defended that lie. And then about 5 minutes later, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm like, you know what? You're right. I lied to you. I'm sorry. That was wrong of me. I shouldn't treat you that way. So just being straight out like that, being straight out, taking responsibility to her, where I said, instead of where I was just completely taking responsibility, like she's called me a scared little boy before.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, fuck, you're right. I was acting like a scared little boy. I mean, what is your thoughts on that?
Well, you haven't got to it yet, but you're going to get in module 3. You're going to learn why you're lying. And it's sabotage stuff that you'll sort of get hinted at in module 2. But at the end of the day, so first things first, there's a big win here. And so that is that you decided to take responsibility. You would have normally just continued to follow through on your lie, right?
Yes.
So even though it's wrong and it's bad and you should never, we've talked about lying in the modules you've already seen, you already know it. At least look at the win right now. That was like, okay, shit. There's a programming that's making you lie, and it's your nice guy. It's I don't want to fuck up. I don't want to do it wrong. I don't want to push her away. I want her to feel loved. I want her to, all these things, basically because you want to feel good enough, that you're doing good enough, that you're a good man. And so you end up lying, and it's just one of the things that we do. You don't know me well enough yet, Nathan, but I'll actually be on calls like this, and I'll say something. I'll be like, that's a lie. It just fucking happens, man. And it's part of your programming. But when you start to just own it, you'll get as good as I am, where it's like, I didn't mean to say that. That's not right. And so, yeah, some of it is that. And then some of it is also you're in your own reality. So I wouldn't say this is an example of that, but we do. We get into our own reality until you start to get a handle of all this stuff. So when you get into the nice guy stuff and man in control, you'll be able to look at that. But right now, I want you to take a step back. Okay, you apologized to her. You told her it was a lie as well. You said you're right because she needed to hear that because you just lied. Okay, and so you've done the best you can with it right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Now going forward, just always think about being true to who you are. If you have core values, which we'll get to in the next one, okay. But if you have core values, lying would interfere with every single value you have. Right.
Okay.
It doesn't align with who you are as the man you want to be. Okay.
And one other thing. So I don't sleep on the couch anymore. I'm sleeping in the fucking bed. Like I pay for the bed. I need a good night's sleep to be able to kick ass the next day. And she'll sleep on the couch or she'll sleep on the bed with me, and it drives me nuts. Like I'll walk out there and I'll see her on the bed on the couch, so fucking uncomfortable, and she's just hurting, man. Like how the fuck do I get past that?
Okay, well, first and foremost, you got to change your first mindset, which is I pay for the fucking couch. It's not really how it is. It's just that this is your home. Keep it more loving, right? And you want her in the bed with you. You want to do this as a couple, okay? It's a lot less negative than I pay for this fucking couch. Fuck it, I need it. That's all defensive. I need a good night's sleep, right? Okay. So even I'm sure you've actually said that to her because at one point you left the room, I think, slept on the couch, and then now you're back. Is that correct? Yeah. So at some point in your anger, because I know how you are, you're a lot like who I used to be. Okay, you probably said those exact things to her, and now that's oozing out, right? So change the mindset first and foremost to loving. No, I can't let me lead for separation, me lead for divorce, me go to the couch and provide structure for the end. That's why I'm in the bed. I love you, babe, right? And then you just do your best to invite her.
Okay.
If she's choosing to go to the couch, we're not going to follow that structure. She's totally invite her. But you got to be doing all the other things. You got to be showing up, trying to have conversations, not be affected by her mood. That little tiff you got in the other day, things like this lie. The connection is not going to be there where you're having better conversations, where you're starting to get along a little more, where she's going to even want to come, never mind be invited and accept, right? It's kind of like the rejection ladder, okay? Sort of same thing, okay?
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mostly she probably needs to get a good fuck you out because you're making her sleep on the couch. You will be tempted, the same nice guy that did the lie, you will be tempted to defend yourself, to feel, no, I want you in this room, and but you just need to let her get it out. Because at the end of the day, you're going down an opportunity when she's loving, empathetic, when she's back to being, her natural state, where you can talk with a smile about the structure of where you want to go without saying this is structure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just start with the ground level first. Okay.
So what about that feeling that where do you think that feeling's coming from? It drives me nuts, and it's not a selfish thing. I truly feel bad for her out there.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the anxiety training will help you with that. You could literally use this example, not the one that I use in the training. Okay. But it's all coming from like a fear. It's coming from a fear base. I feel like a shitty man. I'm not good enough because I'm making her sleep on the couch. Could be one simple thing, right? It could also come from genuine fucking love. I would not want, I feel terrible that Catherine's not sleeping these days. It's been a really, really long time. She almost died last year. There's been all these kinds of things that were, she went septic. She was in the hospital for 6 days. Like there's been a lot of things, to the point where we want to check out things like, did she get vaccinated that we don't know about? There's a lot going on. That hurts me because I love her so much. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And it can be so many other things, guys. Like with Catherine, she's recognizing that she's a little shorter than she is. She's really good at keeping herself in check emotionally, right? Having a safe place with me allows more, and it's maybe a little more than she feels like she wants to be able to do, right? That's her reflection, her inner work. So all of these things affect us when you love your wife, right? So that's going to make you feel anxiety. That's going to make you feel shitty. It's going to make you feel bad because you just love her. So there's two sides of that coin.
Okay.
It's important just to recognize. You don't have to identify and know. You just don't want that to rule your decision-making process.
Yeah. So TBH, they told me, the reason I brought that up is TBH, they told me, if I feel bad because of this or that or whatever, in this situation, they would say there's a bullet there and you need to dig into it. But I don't think so. I just fucking love her and I don't want her to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, you know how I don't want to bash TBH, but it's not providing structure for where you want to go, which needs to be based off the decision process that you make, which needs to be back to all this other stuff we've talked about today. So there's a whole big gap to digging into a bullet. I would say put the gun down, but let her feel all these other expressions I have. But we're going to have to lay this other groundwork first before she's even ready. Like I said, she might need to just say, fuck you for making me sleep on the couch. You're not making her sleep on the couch. That's not real. But TBH would have you just, kind of look like a sissy, just trying to let her feel and just be like, yeah, you're right, and I want to fix everything right now. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
We want her to know she's invited. She should be in the bed with you. We're moving this relationship forward. That's what we need her to know. But she has to process it herself. We don't need to teach her. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, that's awesome. I love that. That's I feel better about that. About the fact that it's okay to just fucking love her and care.
Of course. Of course. It's when you, and again, you'll see this in Man in Control. It's when you guys spin out of control because you love her and you want that love back. Right? That's give to get. That's a covert contract. And by the way, I should have told you that, Matt. Guys, if you're ever trying to explain covert contract, the simplest way is give to get. And the easiest example is when I would do anything, insert what you do, chores, tell her how hot she is, help out more with the kids. I say help in quotations, right? Anything that you're doing, right, to get her to want you, to love you, to feel validation from sex, for example. That's the modern day nice guy, which they call a simp. Okay? None of that is real in this program. You're just showing up. You do love your wife, but you still have to show up for you first. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? It's okay to be a man who loves his wife, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. I got to get rid of some of that negative programming that's been put in me, for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah, I think you're days away from getting the next module, and you're going to dive right in, and you'll start getting some good reflections, and the Lords are all the same, right? Some of us were more rageful, like you and I, and others weren't as rageful, others shut down more, but it all stems from the same kind of crap. Okay?
Yeah, I get fucking angry. I've never hit her. I've never abused her or anything like that. But just the other night, I got so fucking mad, and she locked me out of the bedroom.
Well,
and it was bedtime.
Let me change your mindset here again. That is abuse. Just because you never hit her doesn't mean you're not abusing her. There's so many levels to abuse. Emotional is one of them. Catherine would tell you, she did on the podcast, that she would have rather been punched in the face at times. And she's very clear. I don't want to discredit that and push that onto women who are being punched in the face. But what she's saying is, I just wanted it to stop. Maybe it would stop if you just would have choked me up, like whatever. So be clear with that, because there's even guys that, for another classic example is financial abuse, right? You're not allowed to buy anything, but I'm going to buy whatever I want. That's abuse. There's so many different levels to abuse. And I think men, unfortunately, and this I think is the nice guy wanting to feel good enough. I don't hit her, so I'm not abusive. I'll give you another example. One that a lot of men, a lot of you even have said to your wives at some point along the way, which is, well, I don't cheat on you. Well, what the fuck does that mean? These are all just mindsets that need to be flipped. Of course, you shouldn't cheat, but like whatever, I'm not putting anybody down who's cheated, but these are all mindsets that need to go away, that we do only because of the nice guy, to try to prove we're great to ourselves, and we say it to her. Okay?
Right.
So you're angry and you scream and you do all this shit. That's still abusive. She locks the door. What does she still need? Safety. If she needs safety, she's not going to take any invitation to the room. So insert foundational skills I talked about earlier.
Yeah. And, when I got so angry and I realized that, I'm like, fuck, she comes out of that bedroom, it's not going to be good. I'm going to end up, I won't scream at her or anything, but I tell you what, she's going to know I'm fucking pissed. And so I walked outside, I got in my truck, and I pulled out a notebook, and I just started writing down everything. And pretty soon I felt great. I walked in and showed up. You're
going to find a lot of benefit from reaching out to lords. Like, for example, Bill is probably your closest ally right here. Bill, wave your hand. So when you start to understand this is not the man that you want to be, you might be angry, but that doesn't justify bad behavior, right? And what is the deeper feeling that you're actually feeling, right? I know for you, for a fact, one of the things that you are always battling is the insecurity and fear of loss, because you're going to push her away, yet you sabotage and act on your anger. So we're going to respond. We're not going to react. We're going to focus on a turnaround time. We're going to make this get a lot quicker, where it's okay. Maybe she said things that were terrible, but when you're taking responsibility for yourself, okay, you realize that you enabled that behavior. On day 1, she didn't say those terrible things. On day 4, month 6, 1 year, those things may or may not have been happening, but they built up along the way. All you can do is understand, if I can influence the negative, I can influence the positive. Who the fuck do I want to be? I'm not proud of that man. And then you'll focus less on having to go and get into the truck, right? It's not like it's bad to journal, don't get me wrong, but ideally you don't have to say, hey babe, I love you, I need to take 20 minutes. That is a strategy we can use. It's just, ideally, who should we be? A man who can handle his emotions.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right? Then we lead her, and eventually she can't be slamming. I always use Craig's slamming doors and smashing iPads, right? Well, now we have a new one with Maddie. Maddie's wife got pretty upset not too long ago. It was physical with him, right? Like, that behavior is not justifiable either. But what the fuck, man? Use your power as a man, in his own power, to influence the direction you want this to go. That's called structure, right? And all the victim men crying on my social media going, that's not acceptable behavior, leave her, do this, do that. That's who we are when we're angry, in the nice guy triangle, as a victim. When if you just look at yourself going, man, I certainly like joy. It feels a lot better than being on anger binges. Daily fights with Catherine or daily laughs with Catherine. I like the new life. I had to make some changes.
Absolutely.
So you're going to make the same changes, okay?
Okay. That's awesome.
All right. I'm going to move on, guys. I have about 10 minutes, and then I'll turn it over to somebody if you want to host. I've got to get to a meeting. But let's go, Greg. Or, Greg, I'm calling you later. Is that what you want to talk about right now?
Yeah, we can, excuse me, we can chat later. That's fine. I just didn't know if it was something that you wanted to talk about online, if it was beneficial for other people, but doesn't matter.
I think it's very beneficial. Greg's guy's at the point where he's really, really frustrated. it's the same crap with his life all the time and he's not moving forward. I'm going to dive deep into that with Greg. It's going to take more than 10 minutes. So I'm going to have to call you later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
It's too important of a stage if you're starting to get to boundaries, right? And we've danced the line a lot, so I want to make sure that Greg's on the right mindset before we just start talking and laying boundaries for ourselves. Again, we don't use boundaries as ultimatums. Okay, Bill, go ahead, bud. Probably wanted to relate to Nathan.
I did. I wanted to relate to Nathan. Nathan, I'm a lot like you. I got very angry. I was very mentally abusive, verbally abusive, and one day I don't know, it wasn't too long ago, was it, Cass? That I just told you I'm done. I'm going to live for joy, and I'm gonna just keep joy in my soul. Not that easy to do, but if you keep at it, you can get there. But the thing is that you were talking about the past 2.5 years, how you've been so angry. For me, I found out that no, it wasn't the past 8 years that I've been angry. I've been angry all my life.
There we go.
There are so many things that you have to do to break that cycle. You have to watch yourself at all times. Go through the reset, go through the reset, go through the reset. But the difference now is absolutely incredible. I feel so much better than I did. I am a new man, and I will continue to be a new man and a better man every day. And like, who was it? Best day of my life?
Cole. Yeah.
Every day, best day of my life.
Guys,
but
listen, let me introduce the thought of, don't worry if you're not talking about the level of anger or abuse that men like me, Nathan, Bill, were capable of. Okay? Because this also goes for depression. This also goes for anxiety. It goes for fear, right? None of these are fun. And so no matter which emotion grabs a hold of you the most, it starts with the choice. Usually that choice is coupled with being proud of who you are, right? I didn't realize that in the beginning. I thought, oh, this is cool. I'm not fighting. I'm fighting every 3 days. That's cool. But then I realized there was a sense of pride from not having anger, fighting purposely to pick fights. It's choice. And people think it's impossible. It's not. It's going to be like Bill. It's going to be like me. It's going to be like a lot of you with whatever, the Andes, when we talk about depression, okay? It's simply like this. You get started, but you know only one way. And it is a massive recognition to realize how long it's actually been going on, right? Because once you do, you realize it's probably been most of your life. It's been just been getting worse. That's all. So it's not the 8 years or 2.5 years. That's what I realized too. It was my whole fucking life, right? And then, yep.
I fight that anger every single day, and you know, now it's my choice. Do I give into it? No, I do not. If I find myself giving into it, it's wait, no, can't do that.
A couple of years back, my sister, she said, you know, you're a very angry person. And it blew my mind. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not an angry person. And that's where I really started to look at it. I'm like,
I remember
I thought about it.
I remember meeting Catherine, guys, and she was like, do you have a temper? And I was like, no. You know, honestly, I've had a really bad luck with relationships. And you know, and I really firmly believe this. I don't just call you a bitch. You had to run your shopping cart into the side of me. Some guy said that on one of my comments yesterday, the day before, and I just, I felt so much love for that guy because I'm like, that's not true. That's just something we tell ourselves because we want to justify the negative feelings. You know, if you use depression, you could say something with bad business. You know, you're not getting along with people at work or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different levels to this that if you just realize, take ownership that no matter how many times somebody runs their shopping cart inside of me, I'm not going to call them a fucking bitch. That's just ridiculous, right? Come at it with love, you know. It's hard on comments, but when you're having conversations, at least, or the disagreements with your wife, it's not as hard as social media comments where it's texts. And so I'm a big fan of letting you guys show real tone, because she knows your old tone, right? When you're texting, for example. All right, Jeff, I'm going to let you go.
I was just going to add a quick comment to Terry there. I've been there over the last probably year and a half, 100 times where I've had a door slammed in my face and it locked and it triggers something inside of you. I've just, as of recently, stopped reacting to that and not pounded on the door or set obscenities and stuff like that and swearing and falling into that victim triangle. It's really hard. It cuts at your ego, but I've really learned that it doesn't matter if the door slammed in your face. That's like a version of her ramming in your car, at least to me. And I'm learning how important it is to just walk away in that moment and let stuff cool down and not let your anger just explode over, because it's like gasoline on a fire. So,
and listen, Jeff, it's only a hit to your ego until you become so proud of who you are. Fuck, you can say whatever you want, and I'm still not going to let it affect me where I say or do stupid things. That's not who I am. You know what I mean? And so sometimes it's really hard for us, because the hit to the ego is, how could I be so disrespected? You have to respect me. I'm a man. That's really what it is, right?
Yeah, that's it.
But actually, it's what Jeff recognized. That's just you being in the victim triangle, the nice guy triangle, not feeling good enough. She should respect me. Man, dude, if she's doing any bad behavior, there's a guy on social media. He's really done a lot of self-work, not with me. You can tell. And he gets fired up every time I talk about cheating. That's problem 2. He gets so fired up. He didn't respond back to me. Probably why? Because I explained it very simply. Listen, I understand there's a moral issue, but what led up to that? She wasn't feeling safe. She wasn't feeling like she could trust you. She was getting her, safety somewhere else. That's the emotional connection. Pretend we're not talking about cheating. If she kicks you in the balls, slams a door in your face, calls you a freaking loser, what the fuck is the difference? It's her defending herself because she hasn't felt safe for so long. It's all the same thing. Safety and trust first. We can't do that if we're angry. You can't do that if you're acting out of fear. You have to be in control of who you are, right? And then if you really don't like it, lead her out of it, right? Greg was able to do that. We had to do it a little bit more harshly, right? What I mean by that is firm and aggressive boundaries. You can be mad, but you can't slam doors or smash iPads, right? When GS was talking yesterday, you guys just have to be careful that you're not trying to do that too fast. I think that's way overplayed on the internet and other programs. Boundaries right away, right? You recognize something, for example, Jeff, that has been going on for a long time, but how many times have you recognized that you're not proud of who you are, right? Mm-hmm. Terry just lied this morning and blew up with her not too long ago. What the fuck is a boundary going to do then? Nothing. She doesn't respect you. So all you're doing is putting a boundary down so you can do a safe reaction, so you can just say, I'm justified, I'm awesome. Congratulations, you're not changing your life now or maybe even with the next one. You're not changing your life with your children, with people in business. And I say congratulations very sarcastically. So, yeah, it's really, really important to lean on each other when you're feeling this shit, right? Whatever it is. You guys might even want to practice, some of you practicing like, I don't really know what I'm feeling. And talk to other guys about it. Because a lot of our problem is we don't even know what the actual feeling is, right? Anger is secondary. I know for Jeff, for example, insecurity is way deeper. I feel not good enough. I feel as though I'm a bad man, right? And so anger is really directed outwards because you don't want to be angry yourself, right?
Yep.
Always be proud of who you are, which gives you the ability to turn around and go, oop, I need a do-over, smile, and say it right. Doesn't mean we won't fuck up, right? All right. I have to go, guys. Anybody mind taking the host over? I'll let you guys run.
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, thanks, Andy. Okay, guys, we'll talk tomorrow, and then this Friday, guys. Andy's going to run the call because Catherine's birthday weekend. We got a bunch of people flying in. There we go. All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Cass.
Got it.
Thanks, man. Later.
All right, thanks for coming, guys. We'll see you later.